First, three different government agencies today. The FTC formally announcing that record $5 billion settlement with the company over privacy violations, imposing new requirements on Mark Zuckerberg and making structural changes to the board. The SEC simultaneously announcing a $100 million settlement, accusing the company of misleading investors about the misuse of user data. And then lastly, last night, of course, the DOJ announced it's opening a broad review of tech companies that will scrutinize, quote, leading online market platforms. Didn't name any specific companies, but obviously Facebook, Amazon, Alphabet are all in play. So of the alphabet soup, Jim, what's most important here?
I think Facebook is a demonstration of what happens when the U.S. government really is displeased with the company. I think this is very strict. They're basically reaching in and saying, okay, listen, we're changing the way you run your company. We're actually literally going to monitor you. We're going to insist that you sign off on certain things. We're obviously going to go after you if you violate. David, I look at this. I mean, is there anything left that they didn't do to Zuckerberg?
Well, they didn't put an ankle bracelet on him, right? I mean, I don't think he can leave the house without being monitored.
But David, this is different.
From my perspective, certainly when you look at governance, and we all know Mark Zuckerberg, of course, has super voting. He controls this company through his super voting shares.
Right.
But they're getting around that when it comes to privacy. And I thought one of the more interesting parts of this, and I guess we'd heard bits of it, but looking at it and reading it in print, it establishes an independent privacy committee of Facebook's board of directors, removing unfettered control by Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg over decisions affecting user privacy. So you'll have members of this privacy committee being independent and appointed by an independent nominating committee of the board, and they can only be fired by a supermajority of that board of directors
this
of Facebook.
Is what happens.
So that's moving outside Zuckerberg's control.
This is what happens when you don't put in a so-called grown-up. Remember I was saying, listen, you got to get a Tony West in there from Justice, got to get a retired federal judge. You need to take care of these things ahead of it. Or this Republican Trump government.
By the way,
put somebody in.
It was a 3-2 vote, and the Democrats on the minority side, blanket immunity for executives. They complain. No restraints on the business model. Jim, they obviously see this differently than you do.
Look, I still think it's corporate America, and they've done a great job. And yes, they've paid the price for violating your privacy, but I can't remember other than when Bristol-Myers, when they put a federal monitor on Bristol-Myers because they did not like the way Bristol-Myers handled rebates. Remember, they handled the negotiations and were conceded. It was like maybe they bought off some companies to Apotex because they didn't want them to do generic. This is the first time I've seen since then. Does Trump, I guess Trump hates Facebook. This is extraordinarily tough.
You think the fine is 9% of last year's revenue? Does that strike you as being abusive?
No, but the guy runs the company, and now there's a major part of the company he doesn't run.
It's a committee. I'm not sure.
It's a committee of the board of directors, but they will not. In other words, he won't be able to replace them at his own whim, which of course he can as the control shareholder conceivably.
But that sounds like what they were going to do with Tesla.
With the SEC.
Yeah,
in some ways,
listen, activist government.
Of all of the $5 billion number, which we've known about now for quite some time, is not
penny here, penny there. But this is reaching into the board.
But reaching into the board is interesting.
Aren't you shocked?
It's strong.
It's shocking.
It's strong. I think that is fair to say.
You got to take care of these things. Memo
talking
to
about improving
Silicon
accountability at the individual level. Now, couple that with, of course, the stories today about the increased focus of the Department of Justice on all of the big technology players, and including Facebook, of course, and the FTC continuing its own investigations as well. And we do know that big tech is certainly under the microscope to some extent. Unclear where it all ends up.
Where are their
friends? Still early days.
Where are their friends? The Democrats hate him. The Republicans hate him. Justice hates him. FTC hates him.
The customers don't seem to hate them.
I don't think we've seen any.
Haven't really seen an exodus of them, have you? Yeah.
No, I've not. But boy, Washington hates. This is really the only thing I've seen the Republicans and Democrats really agree on. You could say the debt ceiling, but these guys, it's an equal opportunity hate fest.
Meanwhile, what does it actually mean for the performance of the companies and their stocks? I mean, is there going to be some sort of discount you now have to apply for the possibility? Now, obviously, Facebook is an outlier here because of the specificity of this privacy deal, but to the larger antitrust question of Facebook, Alphabet, Amazon, throw Apple in there because it is under investigation as well. Do you have to apply some sort of a discount? I mean, this is conceivably years before you get any sort of decision by the antitrust authorities as to whether they want to pursue a case.
I think it provides a discount in the sense that you're looking over your shoulder every second. I mean, let's say Zuckerberg comes up with a great idea. There could be someone on the board who says, listen, we got to run this by people. This is not something, let's say they had a version of augmented reality that made your face look older. I mean, someone there might say, well, let's see. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, yes, I think it stifles innovation. Yes, I think it stifles innovation. Yes, Bristol Myers had the same problem. Bristol was not the same after they appointed a monitor. You're not the same.
Does it also stifle the misuse of user data?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's a positive.
Yeah. For who?
For users.
Not for Facebook shareholders.
No, for users.
Oh, for users. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I forgot them. But if you're a shareholder of Facebook, you're saying, okay, it wasn't defined enough, and the answer is no. The government is reaching in. It does not do that except for in criminal cases, David. Criminal cases.
Yep.
Justice Department.
No, what they call the conduct relief here, as they say, it's unprecedented in the history of the FTC, specific to this board committee.
You think there's any regulation inflation because of the turf war that's developing between FTC and DOJ?
Wow. You mean just a battle to be tough?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're trying to look tough.
Well, I guess so, but can we just come back and say that this was a government that was supposed to be anti-regulation? This government is so pro. Does the president know that his government is pro-regulation? Well, I've seen this with FERC doing energy.
There is obviously a deregulation.
Where? Coal. Okay, coal.
King
coal.
Anything involving the environment is deregulated.
Well, that's true. I mean,
whatever you want to do
there.
Global
warming thing.